Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm going to do a quick video on some of the so-called positive cards within Lenormand. I don't think any of the cards are inherently positive or negative. Just like you in our lives, each card has multiple sides to it and are very complex. They also can convey different types of energies and nuances that I think are important when we're reading the cards. And also considering that in Lenormand, we don't read the cards individually, they're always being modified by other cards. So I think it's important just to stay open and really pay attention to just reading the cards, using your discernment when you're asking questions, instead of just looking at them at face value as positive or negative. So let's start with the Sun card. The Sun card is usually associated with happiness, success, or victory. But to me, it also can represent shallowness, superficiality, or someone who has charisma and who is very personable, but also lacks some type of inner substance and depth to their personality. The dog card can represent friendliness and personal devotion to others. However, the dog card can also represent someone who is a people pleaser, someone who puts the needs of others above their own, someone who is very naive and can't pick up on the subtle hints and signs that other people don't want them around or don't really like them for who they are, but what they just have to offer. It's about being loyal to a fault sometimes when you see the dog card. The bear card can represent a leader, a boss, or a mother, but it also can represent our long term financial investments. However, the bear card can also represent aggression, dominance, and intimidation. A person being represented by the bear could be someone who likes to throw their weight around. If they're larger than you, they will use their physical size to intimidate you. If they're richer than you, then they can try to use their wealth to control you or to intimidate you as well. The fish card can be known for independence or entrepreneurship, but it also can be known as a sign of greed or someone who doesn't know when enough is enough. When you study Lenormand for the first time, you may see the fish come up to be associated with high quantity of something. And so some people associate this card with an alcoholic and someone who drinks too much and doesn't know when enough drinks is enough. Now let's move down to the tree card. People look at the tree card as a symbol of health, vitality, and also growth or expansion. But many people don't really, to me, think about how long does it take for a tree to even, get this big? How long does it take? How much time, energy, and effort does it take to accomplish some type of basic level of mental, emotional, and physical health? It can take a lifetime. It can take many years. And so the tree card, even though it's known for growth and expansion, to me, it's a symbol of slowness, of patience, and also gradual change, gradual growth that can take many years to obtain some type of goal or something that you really want. It's not fast. The flowers card or the bouquet card can be known to represent diversity, beauty, or creativity. It also can represent a beautiful woman. I also look at the flowers card as flattery, politeness, and small talk, especially from people who may or may not even like you, but due to social customs, they will engage you or pretend to like you. These people also can have a hint of superficiality with them or being overly vain or concerned with their looks. The lilies card can represent someone who's older, an older man, your family. Some people also represent it with morality, purity, and just tradition. One other aspect of this card involves people who are very conservative and traditional to a fault. Sex is also associated with this card. And this also can represent people who are sexually repressed or who like to encourage sexual repression. Another thing I want to say is that because the lily card is represented by like an older man or just family in general, sometimes I can also pick up the idea of people who are very strict and very stuck in their ways. They have a way of doing something, they have a way of looking at things, and they're not really open to change. Lastly, the Clover card has been known for luck, it's known for an opportunity or just a gamble. Another aspect of this card is just because you're given some type of opportunity, or even if something quote unquote lucky happens to you, not only do you sometimes have to make a choice to take on that opportunity, you may not have the time to really fully assess the possible risks or trade offs that come with that opportunity. Even if you were, for an example, able to win the lottery today, even if you would, on the surface, get more money in your life, you would also have to think about all of the legal and personal ramifications that would come with having a lot of money. Another thing about risk and gambling is that people like to talk about all of the positive consequences when they're gambling or taking a risk on something. People who like to leave their job to start a business, people who leave their hometown to go to California to become an actress or an actor. However, we likely don't always hear about the stories of people who do leave their jobs, who do move to California, who do take on these big risks in life and have these opportunities, but they don't turn out great. The Clover card isn't necessarily always about a positive opportunity or a positive gamble. Sometimes we lose when we take risks. Sometimes we lose when we gamble. Sometimes we lose when we take on certain opportunities that on the surface may seem to be good opportunities. So the Clover is also about being discerning and also knowing that you might lose. You don't get to win all of the time just because you get to take a risk. So, this was just a brief overview of the different sides and different ways of looking at these cards. Please feel free to share your thoughts and comments below. I just want us to get away from black and white thinking and know that the cards are supposed to represent our lives. And if we think about our lives, we know that life is very complicated, and I think Lenormand is a great tool because it's supposed to help us navigate a very complicated life. And if our life is complicated, that would have to mean that the cards would have to be a little bit more complicated as well. Thank you so much.